doing today?
I'm great, T. No,
Great.
I feel oppressed.
Good. That's the whole goal.
We'll get into that later. Okay. So welcome to the great debate. All right. Is anybody have any questions about what we're going to do today before I explain the objectives and the rules for the debate? Yes, Nevi?
What are we doing today?
We're having the debate. The great debate.
Oh,
We'll edit that.
I missed that part. Are we gonna get closer to each other?
We are at one point when we get into the debate.
I want to
Okay?
yell at people.
All right, but first, so we're gonna talk about that when we go over the instructions. So I'm gonna just go over the class objective right now, and then I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of free time to finalize all of your arguments and everything. Okay. So we're gonna be able to do today. Sorry, got both sides. So. Objective 1, we're going to use evidence to support our claims and arguments that we're making today. We're going to use critical thinking and communication skills effectively in our debate. And then, obviously, you guys have done this pre-debate and then a little bit inside class time now. We're going to research cases to use in a debate on freedom of expression. Okay? Are there any questions about that? No?
No.
Awesome. Okay. So debate instructions. So this is what we're going to do, and then I'm going to break you into groups, I'm going to break you into your groups to work on finalizing your arguments, and then we're going to get into the debate. Okay? So we're going to first start up with opening statements. Each team is going to have 10 minutes to make your opening statement. All right? I want you to clearly present your team's case. Are you for or against more expression and speech in schools? And then I would like you to explain the information you're presenting to prove your side, okay? Then after the opening statements, all right, we're gonna have a rebuttal time. Each side is gonna have a chance to make counterclaims and counter arguments to each other's side. Then we're gonna have cross-examination, where you are allowed to ask questions to the other side. For every one question, you're going to allow the opposing side 30 seconds to discuss in their teams how they want to respond, and then that side is going to have 1 minute to respond. Yes,
So we're using our evidence in the opening statement?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And you can also use it in your rebuttals. Okay. And then also in your closing statements. Okay. So after the cross-examination, we're going to have closing statements, where you're then going to re-emphasize your key points of the arguments that you have in your groups, okay, and point out the flawed arguments in the opposing side's groups. Then after that, we're going to have a class reflection, and then I'm going to give you guys a rubric so that everybody has a chance to fill that out and assess both yourself and your team members, okay? All right, so let's take our time and get into groups, and we'll finalize our arguments, okay?
Yep.
I want you guys to remember that you can go to the classroom when you're in your groups, all right, and you have all your resources here. You have the instructions, you have different First Amendment cases that you guys have put in your doc, and then also the arguments for and against, and then you've got your classroom rubric that we'll use at the end of the debate, okay? So,
communication. Problem solving. Research.
Oh my God, my phone time!
No, alright. Whole day's ruined.
You already
Going home. Pack it up.
Good thing I brought a spare. Okay, so I'm gonna keep a timer for the opening statement, so we have 10 minutes, I'm gonna keep it 5 minutes aside. We're gonna go based off of the coin flip from the last class that we did with Cayenne's $50. We're gonna go Team Cannon here, okay? Alright, so I'm not going, unless anybody makes any sort of absurd claims in their arguments, I'm not going to be interfering in any of your speech. I'm going to give you the time that you have allotted. But what I will do is sometimes play referee, okay, if someone makes a statement. All right, so I'm going to press the timer and so I'm going to press the timer, and then we're going to get going. All right, so Team Cannon, the floor is yours, sir.
Alright, so I just want to say that our side stands for the dress code should stay the same. And the reason being is that even though there's a lot of like ideas about like equality, which could happen in society right now, those are all like sort of utopian ideas where like everyone's going to be perfect and everyone's going to respect each other. And obviously that's what we want, but that's not what we have currently. So for like it to be accepted for anyone to wear anything, everyone would have to think that's okay, and that's never going to happen. I think with the current restrictions, everyone is more than able to express themselves in a way they want without being an extreme, and I think that's all it stops is it comes to a point where like it ends where people would be too much. Like if someone's trying to like sexualize someone, it stops it where it'd be like too much and like it'd be too far, and another person might have a really big problem with it. So I think they're trying to cut it at a spot where both sides can be happy with what they have, and without those restrictions and without perfect people, it would be a war zone. And so, for example, like something that works is the Tinker versus Des Moines case with the black armbands. That's totally fine because it's just like an accessory. It's not promoting anything bad, it's just saying how someone feels. But with the Morse versus Frederick, the bong hits for Jesus, that is not acceptable because it's promoting drugs on school time or at an event, so they had to shut that down. So if there was no restrictions, that could have turned into people more than a sign, I guess, people going there and smoking, I don't know, but just these restrictions kind of keep this area tame and at a certain level where people can actually function. That's my statement.
Okay, good. So you still have 2.5 minutes left. Does anybody else want to say anything or part of your opening statement?
My team is more freedom in school, and my argument is, why do we have to ask to use the bathroom? Because why would we have to use the bathroom? I mean, all of us are the evidence here. But do you have to ask to go to the bathroom? Do you have to ask to go? Yeah.
Honestly, like, another argument we came up with was, like, realistically speaking, like, if we had, like, less rules, who would, like, actually do something bad? Like, we're trying to rebel pretty much. That's all we're really doing. And also there's a lot of, like, really stupid rules that have been justified, like telling someone who's wearing religious or cultural headwear that, like, they can't wear that. What's the point of doing that? It's something they normally have to wear. It's a requirement for them.
Yes, this one.
So, Cannon, you had pointed out that current.
Wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. Were you making you're finished with your statement?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, great.
That currently you feel the dress code allows anyone to express
Hosoka, one second, I apologize. So just let me transition from the statement to the rebuttal.
We can't argue
Okay.
yet.
No, sorry, no, I apologize. Okay, so for the rebuttal, we're gonna have 10 minutes aside, okay? So I apologize for interrupting you, but I just wanted to know that we're finished with the opening statement and then the
Okay.
rebuttal. Okay,
Alright,
so, all right, so 10 minutes starts now, go for it.
Okay, so you mentioned that everyone has the freedom to express themselves freely and without restriction. But there's some restriction, but just enough. What about those with bigger parts of their bodies that get dress coded more often than those that don't have bigger parts? Why is that a thing? Do you feel like that's still okay? So, what would you say in that situation?
Yes, okay.
Respond to that one.
So here
Am
we're
I
good.
allowed to respond to people, or am I?
Yeah, oh, yes, absolutely. So, but let me just, quick edit here. So remember, a rebuttal and a examination are two different things. So a rebuttal is where you're gonna take the arguments that Cannon made in his opening statement, and then you're going to use, your evidence as a way of refuting what it is he's saying. So, so you're not asking questions, you're more like stating his facts back at him, talking about how flawed they are.
I just didn't know if I was just had to take this.
Any questions on that? Okay, so rebuttal time starts now.
Okay, so canon. Personally, I've been dress coded under these dress code rules. And I was wearing a t-shirt with a pair of jeans and a hoodie.
Wait, I can't, so I can't respond?
Not yet. No,
Not yet,
so
okay.
you want, it's 10 minutes per side, okay? So everybody from that side gets to make their statements.
I'm gonna forget in 10 minutes.
You want to know?
I'm not that nice
Okay, so you said that not everyone is gonna be happy with, or not everyone's gonna be comfortable with people wearing whatever they want, and it's just like, you can never get to that point where people are gonna be okay with people wearing whatever, or like, it's just, you gotta take that first step, you know, like, or you said no one's gonna be comfortable with that change, like, right away. But like, you gotta take that first step for people to kind of like get there, you know? So it has to, it's gonna take time, obviously, but you gotta start from somewhere. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Also another argument, there's been people that walked around with their kids halfway out. I'm not gonna name who because that's mean, but they don't get dress coded, but then as soon as a different body comes around, that's a whole different situation.
In response of like, the whole like, people are gonna sexualize, like, that's gonna happen even with like really strict dress codes. Like, some people find like suit and ties really hot and sexualize it. You can't really control, like, you know, no matter what you do, there's gonna be sexualization. Dress codes aren't really gonna fix that.
Is that everybody?
It just has to do with the dress code though. But, like, I don't remember when I said this before, but I remember seeing something where in other cultures, and it was like perfectly okay for women to have their breasts out and everything, and like even children, and everyone would just see it, and they're okay with that. They like, it doesn't bother them because they're used to seeing it so often. It's just part of the way they live. And the only thing that is really the only thing that's really supposed to trigger the human brain, like, how do I phrase this? The only thing that's supposed to really arouse people is like the act of sex. Like, if there's something in your brain that's like, oh, cool, they're doing that, I need to do that now. So like, seeing any part of someone's body, it's not really supposed to arouse you. It's just kind of like over time, through bad like leaderships, you've seen or that you've had to cover up and seeing any part of skin is not okay. And it like, sorry. It's like, because we've had to cover up and everything, people are like, oh, any bit of skin that's like a wooga, I'm gonna sexualize you. I don't know how to phrase what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Am I
So
good?
10 minutes on your side starts now.
Okay, so that first step you're talking about should not be a leap off of a bridge without a parachute. It should be a step, and removing the dress code entirely is a leap, not a step. And I heard 0 points on how you should change the dress code, if you should. I was only told about bathroom. And my thoughts on the bathroom, it's a school, we're on the school's time, and we are interrupting the lesson we're supposed to be taught when we feel the need to go to the bathroom, and a lot of students do just take advantage of that and just go vape or sit there on their phones. They don't actually need to use the bathroom. And we ask because it's the teacher's time, not our time. When you're working, you can't just stand up at your job and be like, all right, I'm gonna go take a 25-minute doogie. You can't just like get up and leave and do that. You gotta make sure it's okay with your coworkers and the people around you.
Alright, so I'm just gonna bring up you talk about other cultures, yeah? So like that, like I said, that is like sort of a utopian thing. Like everyone wants that. That'd be like, that's where we wanna be. That's like the perfect idea. But like, yeah, everyone has breasts, but just, it's all about like for hundreds of years, it's just how people have lived. It's just been seen as like women should have to like cover their breasts, and like it's fine with men, and like it's a utopian idea to not have that, but it's just been like this forever, and that's how everyone's grown up, and that's how everything's been. So to change that, it would have to take it would have to take just as much time to set that in as normal for people covering up than to not cover up.
With that, like right now, everybody has been brought up, everybody years ago was brought up with racism. Right now we are trying to remove that and revoke that from society and make it so that's not something that's taught and that's not how people behave. We would have to do that same thing and take those same steps to make people less sexualized and make people more comfortable with other people's bodies. It's the same process with a different subject. It takes a lot of time, and there's always going to be those redneck folk who disagree and won't be reasonable people.
I think we should
I don't feel like a standstill is necessarily the need for that though.
This is really hard not to argue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just
I
wanna
want
say,
to walk around with no shirt on.
I wanna
Well,
say,
hey, wait, hold on. Let me press the pause button for a second. Has your keep going. Has your group finished?
Mhm.
Okay, so then keep going. You have 7 minutes.
alright, I just wanna say, Alumi said who would, like, if there were no codes, who do you think would actually act on this? Right, and you would hope nobody, cause you're not supposed to, but, and there's a good chance of it not happening, but school is just supposed to be a place of like, civil, you're supposed to be civil, you're supposed to learn, that's the point of it. So, it's the risk of like, it could happen, it might not, but it's just supposed to be a place where you go and learn, and I think the rule is just to keep it at this piece instead of testing it and then having something actually happen, and we go far more back than where we're at.
And, I mean, it's definitely opened up more in the past few years. I mean, 50 years ago, if somebody wore a cute little maid outfit to school, they would get bullied and kicked out of school, and they'd probably get a detention at least. They would be in trouble with not just the other students as far as harassment and bullying, but the faculty and the staff would also not allow that. If Kyan showed up to school wearing that when T went to high school, it wouldn't have gone well. Ken, you got something to say?
Yeah.
Speak on the topic, Kyle.
Got nothing to say.
Speak, Kyle. You're the one pushing the boundaries right now.
I think all the topics
Can we
that,
argue back yet?
So there's 2 minutes left. Do you have any more?
no,
Yeah, no, you wanna make a rebuttal stick?
no, but I think all the statements that have been said, or that I wanted to say, have been said.
Okay.
And just one last final thing. I
Yep.
feel like all these ideas everyone has is just, it's the difference between is like, we want to be perfect. But like, we should want to move forward and we should want this to be a thing.
Do the cross-examination, all right? And so, so we're gonna start with this side, and you're gonna be allowed to ask a question to this side. You're gonna have 30 seconds to think about it, okay? You can discuss it as a side, or you can just think about it if it's directed at one person. Then, when you're ready, I'll give you 1 minute to respond. And then after you respond, then you are allowed to ask this side a question, okay? And we'll do that for 10 minutes, all right? So, does anybody on this side have a question they wanna ask?
Yes, can I,
Okay?
can I really
Yes,
question?
absolutely, go ahead.
What's the question?
I'm not even arguing with you, I'm not angry enough.
Not yet? Okay.
I'm not.
Hey,
angry.
someone sucks.
Shouldn't be fueled on anger. it should
Huh?
be
Hey, someone sucks.
What if I took off my shirt, would that make you angry? All
No, I'm joking. No, I'm joking. Devai, I'm just trying to get you revved up.
It's
Isn't that
not.
what the Bible's trying to promote?
Nobody's trying to get everyone.
I'm just gaslighting.
I just wanna walk to school, like, I don't wanna walk into school with no shirt on.
Instead
I just
of
wanna
even
look public.
attempting to take.
I wanna be outside with no
Well, this
shirt
is a
on.
school
You
topic,
just,
not a public
you
topic.
can't, you just
Exactly, so I
can't,
can't really
you
argue with
just
you.
To
can't
avoid
strip
the
in public.
pushback.
You can leave the house,
Yeah, in Vermont, you can leave your house. and
Yeah,
you
that's
just
why
can't, you can't get in
you
trouble
just
for
can't
it.
strip in
I
public.
just said that
So
one,
you, if you
so-
took
So,
your shirt
yeah,
off
that
in
one.
public, you could get
And
arrested.
you also
You could
can't-
walk out the house with no
Great
shirt.
steps.
But why should I have to get arrested if men can take their shirts off in public?
That's right.
That is true.
Ask, just ask.
But you
So
can leave your
so
house
this
if
is,
you want.
so again, I would say this is something that maybe you can put in your closing arguments.
Or
Are we
you
gonna
can
argue
close
at the end?
Well, we are arguing in a respectful way. So now, so now you can ask a question. So do you have a question for this side?
I do.
Okay,
Isn't the pushback part of life?
okay. Is that the question? All right, so I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to think about that, and how do you want to respond? Go ahead, get in there, get in there.
Alright, let me speak, let me speak. Okay, wait.
Oh, wait, okay, hold on, let me set the timer. All right, so you ready?
Are we having a conversation now, or is it just me defending myself?
So you get 1 minute to respond to that question, and then when the timer stops, then you're finished, and then you are allowed to ask this side a question.
Okay.
All right, so you ready?
Yep.
All right, 1 minute starts now.
Okay, so, like I already stated, there is going to be pushback like there is with everything. I just stated that with racism, how it's becoming more, like, it's now seen as not okay whatsoever, and people are starting to understand that, and there's a lot less of it around in this building in particular. Like I was saying, 50 years ago, you couldn't have wore what kind you're wearing to school right now. You couldn't have done that. So the dress code is going somewhere. I'm just saying, like, in this present moment, we shouldn't be able to come to school half nude, and we should keep some kind of foundation that's already there, because as of right now, it is working for the general population of the school.
What is like the current actual problem with the system we are currently having? The rules, not the people enforcing, the current rules we currently have.
I'm sorry, I was reading something else.
What's the actual issue with the system? Not the people enforcing it, but the system we currently have. What's the issue with that?
Can I add to that? Can I add?
If it's in a question, yeah.
Okay, and by that he means like with the singling out, like you were saying you were dress coded, that isn't the system, that's the people enforcing it. As the guideline of the actual dress code states, you would be fine, that's the people enforcing it. So we're just talking about the actual dress code
The
itself.
rules that are in place, what's actually wrong with the rules in place?
Can I argue now?
Yes, we have 30 seconds to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So hold on, and then 1 minute starts right now.
Well, first of all, we can't show our shoulders. Are shoulders sexy to you?
No,
Okay. Our stomachs, we can't show our stomachs.
not a big fan of the belly button.
Depends if it's an in or an out.
So,
Love you too.
I love everybody in this room, okay? Except for you, who's watching on YouTube, because you do not link, subscribe, and hit that notification button.
Alright, so
Okay.
So like, comment, and subscribe.
just plug it like a Minecraft.
Pay me, Mark Zuckerberg! All right, so we have the debate. I'm gonna hand out the rubric after we have a little bit of a discussion, but I just wanted to get some of your thoughts and opinions. About what you thought about the debate, and I'm gonna ask Brianna first, because I think that she was a little frustrated during the debate. But then also just what we've been talking about with student expression and free speech, okay? So Brianna, why don't you tell me, or tell the class, how you felt about the debate, because you seemed a little frustrated.
I feel like you got no way. We're both on the same
Okay,
side.
so you thought it was a stalemate?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have any problems with the format?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
I wanted to continue arguing and you wouldn't let me.
But do you think that the debate was able to move a little smoother just simply because there was some of those rules?
No.
No?
That's what I was gonna say most of the time.
So, but if I didn't have any rules, do you think you would have able to have a debate where you were able to get from start to finish?
We would have started choking each other.
We do it every day.